Welcome to the midnight, if you're on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, Nightcap with Joe Soro. This is usually right after our post game, but tonight we had a little bit of a spacer due to the fact that the game tonight, or I should say, keep saying tonight for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like I'm in the Philippines or something, but the game was at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern, and we had a chance to have an hour-long post game. Got out a lot of our issues with the game this afternoon, but I know that there were some requests after I had gotten off. So Intel, if you're here, show yourself. I've got some things here waiting for the true nightcap, and I'm feeling like 9 o'clock is a good time for a nightcap. 11 o'clock tends to be a little late for some of you all out there. Maybe not me. I can usually sleep whenever I want, but we are at a nice little middle ground on the evening, considering it is Sunday, and I know a lot of you out there have work. For those of you in the East Coast here in this country, in the United States, as well as, of course, the people on the West Coast, they still sleep early here every now and then, of course. But talking about evening, Daniel, good to see you, buddy. Thanks, Serge. I appreciate it. Going back to the game, I've had a chance to, and this is probably one of the benefits of having some time between the post game and the nightcap, is I get a chance to analyze a little bit more activity post game by either the players, the coaches, or just commentary around sports. And one of the main complaints that I've read coming from Darvin Ham and the players is that they felt that they didn't call the game very well today. I believe this might have been the first time, don't quote me on this, I think this is the first time AD's ever played more than 40 minutes and not had an attempt at the free throw line. So he didn't have any attempts at the free throw line today. And more than that, he was in foul trouble at the beginning of the game, but the fact that he still played 42 minutes was pretty amazing. He was a little hesitant, of course, not to pick up those fouls, but I think at some point he was at 3 fouls for a while towards the end there, and he didn't play too bad defense. It wasn't Nurkic was really killing them in the first half, and then, of course, the offensive rebounds when he wasn't around. But that's kind of how it goes. But the Lakers lost today, 123-113. The Denver Nuggets did the Lakers a little bit of a solid just a few moments ago by defeating the Golden State Warriors. So the Lakers were at the 10th spot after the Phoenix game this afternoon, and then Golden State lost, and they've been losing to Denver pretty badly the last few years, actually. I think they've lost the last 10 out of 11. And now the Lakers are back in the 9th spot. Now, the Lakers are still one down in the loss column against Golden State, but Golden State lost a few games here because of their assistant coach passing away. So that's kind of how that goes. This is by far the worst reffing group by far. You know, it's Cash. Is it Cash? Am I saying that right? Or Chash? Khashir? Wait, hold on. Khashar. Is that how you say it? Khashar? Khashar. I bet you it's Khashar. You know, saying something is the worst when you keep seeing the worst, at some point that might be hyperbole. But you're probably not that far off. Honestly, I mean, I have lost the feeling of the refereeing, which is actually a good thing. We haven't really been complaining about the refs this year because of how bad the team is focus-wise and how bad the coaching has been. So I can honestly say, I'm not lying when I say this, I actually did not pay attention to the reffing at all. I don't think I even mentioned it in the postgame. So if you guys saw something that I wasn't paying attention to, I'll take your word for it. But you know, at the end of the day, guys, there was still the same mistakes that they've been making for for what? The entire season. And we saw it tonight. We saw it this afternoon, and it just doesn't seem to be going away. And I don't know if it'll ever go away. If you're waiting for Vando and Gabe Vincent and Cam Reddish to come save the day, I'm sorry, folks, but that's a very dangerous mindset to have. The guys right now that are playing have been playing all year. The team has had a relatively healthy season in terms of the people that actually do matter, other than maybe Vando. So, I mean, you could say Gabe Vincent too, but he hasn't played ever really, and so I don't really even consider him as part of the team. But again, we're going to that spot now. We're going to be going to that spot where we're going to really understand where this team's going to be, probably in about 2 weeks, and then at that point we can start preparing for what's next. Joe is obviously ignoring my shot challenge. Hold on, Intel. I'm not ignoring it. I have to finish what I was saying. People ask questions. People bring something up. I got to answer that question. That's a good one, Darren. I've actually used that line a few times. All work, no play makes Joe a dull boy. And of course, 99% of the dillweeds out there don't have a clue what I'm talking about. So I usually don't say it as much unless I know I'm around somebody that knows what I'm talking about. Okay, Intel, I'm going to scroll back up. What is it that you said about, what was it? Hold on. Let me go back to the comments section on. Okay, where are we here? Intel, where are you? Okay, so you said 6 shots in 30 minutes for 150. 1 shot every 5 minutes. Hey, y'all want me to do this? You really want me to do this? I need a couple of confirmations. I need a couple of peer pressure type yeses. What do you guys think? You think I should do this? 5 shots on a Sunday night. Mondays are my busiest days. Okay, Bloodhouse said no until let's see what else is next. Let's let the people speak. Okay, so Ty says yes. I'm gonna do this real quick. The next 3 comments, two have to be yeses, and I'll do it. If it's 2 no's, then it's done. Okay, that's 1. Of course, you don't count Intel. All right, Alice said no. Uh-oh. 1 more and it's done. 1 more is done. Yes. Shit. All right. Hey, I got to be the man of my word, right? All right. So I don't have the greatest tequila on me, but it's not Cuervo, which is the, store-bought garb stuff. I have this stuff. It's called 99,000 hours in Spanish. I've looked it up. Apparently, it's got it was a present from one of my guys when he went to Mexico. Apparently, it's got this woody flavor with some soft, kind of like fruity tones to it. So let's see what it's about here. Here, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Here's 99,000 horas. Got everybody can roll their R's here, right? When you're in Southern California, as long as I have, you learn to do it. All right. Here we go. The money's in, which means I got to do it now. There's no quitting now. So here's what I want you all to do. Whether it's Intel, whether it's Akeem, whether it's Deviant, it doesn't matter who it is. Clock me at 5 minutes, because when I start talking, I can't. 5 minutes goes by like a burp. So here, I'm gonna take the first shot. There we go. I want you guys to believe that I'm doing this. There we go. Here's that. You guys see that? You see the liquid? Here's shot 1. Whew. Wow. That's pretty good. That's damn good. Whoo. Whoo. God damn. That was actually that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. So, for those of you who didn't read Intel's message, I got to take a shot every 5 minutes. Well, essentially for 30 minutes. Wait, does that math work? You said 6 shots, right? 6 shots for every 5 minutes. So keep track, guys, because I'm going to start talking. I'm going to go back to talking about the game and hope I don't slur after 20 minutes. So the Lakers, for those who haven't been on, who weren't on post game tonight, we talked a lot about what the major problems are with this team, and it's simply the same stuff that's been going on. And I got some kickback from Sean Harder, one of our regulars, about us blaming LeBron, and I wasn't blaming LeBron. It wasn't really blaming. The blame part is too easy. It's too easy. It's I'll chase it here until I got water. It's not blame. It's the inability to get this whole team to rally with each other and really come together when it matters. The teams that do that little extra to win these kind of games on the road consistently. You know, every team, there's 82 games. Every team's going to have one every now and then. But to do it consistently, especially when you've got this much pressure on you, to make up ground. This is the last road game for a minute. You're going to go play the Clippers at home, even though it's a Clippers home game. And then you're going to be at home for a while, and it's against really good teams. The only team that's not good is Washington. You play them on the back end of a back-to-back after the Clippers game, and then after that, it's Denver, it's Milwaukee, it's all playoff teams and a lot of high seed playoff teams. So you wished you could steal some of these games because you've already lost 2. You lost the Golden State game on the road. You lost tonight's game. If you had just won one of those, then you go in after the All-Star break 2-1 with all home games, and you should be able to at least feel like, you know what, we're at home, we're confident. Role players usually play better at home. Let's see if we can go ahead and make a run here where we can maybe solidify a playoff spot at 7. Yeah, you still have to play in the play-in, but then if you do lose, you still get the 8 seed. But I guess it wasn't in the cards for us. So it's unfortunate, but as far as the leadership standpoint, you can't be the leader of a team and not take the brunt of the kickback on why this thing's not going the way it's going. LeBron, I saw for the first time, react to a lack of focus when there was an inbound play right after Phoenix scored to where they almost turned the ball over, especially at a critical time of the game. I hadn't seen him do anything like that all year. And the irony in that is that's something that LeBron tends to do sometimes when he doesn't get what he wants, i.e. a foul call, i.e. whatever. And that might be why it's not good. That might be why he doesn't talk enough, because then that's when the guys will probably turn on him. They're like, hey, man, you don't even play good on defense. You lollygag when you don't get the call. We're stuck here going 4-on-5. So what is it? What else is it at that point? What else can he do? Well, you can start by running back on defense when you do not get a call. If you don't get the call, still run back on defense. And can you play a little defense? I mean, I know you got to kind of hold yourself a little bit so you don't get burnt out, but maybe you might not need to communicate with the guys. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't see the practices. We don't have any cameras in practice. We don't know what the hell's going on. So we have to guess by what we're seeing. So, but by what we're seeing is all that matters at the end. This is a results business. You all know what I think about results, right? It's only about results. So if the results aren't good, that means not good things aren't going well behind the scenes. Unless, of course, you're Sasha Vujicic. Sasha used to have the greatest practice shooting games in the history of practice. The second you put him in the game, you start missing. Except for 1 year, 2008. I think that was his only year where he was pretty lethal. So anyways, I'm going to get back to some of your guys' comments. Where are we here? Okay, so am I at 5 minutes? Yeah? Okay. No. Man, that thing made my stomach hurt. So if I yak, it's your fault, Intel. Okay. There's another one. There we go. All right. I'm not a magician. I don't have like another thing here. This thing's kind of heavy, but you guys can see the liquid right here. There you go. See? Salute to everyone. Whew. That one didn't go down well. That's two. Oh, wow. Maybe it's this thing in my mouth that's messing it up. It's like a fireball. Anyways, I guess here. So, post game, Darvin Ham and some of the Laker players were interviewed, and they were very adamant about the refs not calling the game evenly. I don't know if they're going to get fined for that, but they probably will. But right now we're in that mode. So the excuses continue to build, even if it's justifiable. When you complain about the refs after sucking all year in the basics of basketball, it's going to make it look worse. Now, if you were rocking and rolling and you were up 20 above 500 and you get a game like this on the road, then you have a little more justification. Joe, can you do a rant how The Shining is such a bad movie? Cool, bro. This is a Laker channel. I do skew off to social and movies and other things, but that's Siskel and Ebert stuff. I got to sit here and explain to you why this is and why that is. I don't think a lot of the people here care about The Shining. I like it. I do. But I don't think my audience does. I don't think our audience does. Our audience wants to see me drop dead drunk right now and talking Lakers. And guess what? I'm going to give them at least one of them. I just don't know which one yet. Why does the NBA overly protect refs? Well, because they're the NBA. Because they're the NBA. They do get well, that's like telling on yourself, Scarlett, this is what it is. You guys got a good rant at the post game. Right now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to rant, really. I guess I'll have to see how it ramps up while I rant, or I don't. But it's hard to rant even on a loss like this, because what are my rant? At some point, if I'm ranting about the same thing, how effective is it? Is it just entertainment at that point? Is that all it is? Okay, then it makes sense. But I like the rants to mean something, even if it doesn't. At least to me. Can it mean something? I'm dialing 9 and 1. Joe waiting on the other one. That's a good one. Screw it. I'm getting drunk too. This damn team. I need a bullhorn, man. That's a good one, Mission. As the production value builds on this show, guys, I'm planning on changing up some stuff here. I'm going to start having some clickers where we give props to those with funny comments, and of course we'll make fun of you too at the same time. It's kind of how we roll here. So did you see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Yes, Darren, I did see that movie. This was a few years back, and my God, Jack Nicholson. I was always a fan, and I'd seen him in almost everything post 85. But my God, he was good in that movie. He had deserved that Oscar. He was phenomenal. Now, in A Few Good Men is one of the most watchable films ever made. It doesn't matter if it's on TBS, TNT, the Spanish channel, my tape, my DVD, my Blu-ray. It doesn't matter what it is. That movie I have to watch it. It's almost a perfect movie. It's almost a perfect movie. The cast was perfect. The story was perfect. The act 1, act 2, act 3 was perfect. Matter of fact, I took a philosophy 101 class in college, and the teacher, who looked like Denzel Washington, by the way, uh, showed that movie to explain the philosophy of people, like women's intuition, and here's this straight laced guy versus the chance taker, and all this stuff. It was absolutely phenomenal. That was like one of my first classes in college. So when I got to college, I'm like, damn, is this how college is, man? This is actually kind of fun. Watching a movie and then kind of correlating it with the philosophy and how it all kind of intertwines and how the mental part works and how you interpret things. It was probably one of my best classes. I was fortunate enough to go to San Diego State at a time, and I don't know if it's changed since then, really. I know some college campuses are. I know Ivy League schools are really prominent for kind of going overboard on the social type stuff. But when I was in college, I never felt like there was really any issues with the social part of things. Either that or I just wasn't on campus long enough to see it. But almost all the teachers, all the professors I had, and all the classes I had were really, really good. So going back to One Flew of the Cuckoo's Nest, I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. Definitely watch it. A Few Good Men, definitely watch it. And you'll want to buy that one because it's very, very watchable. No, Jack's not dead, but I'm hearing things that he's slowly coming down. When I say slowly coming down, I think his mental capacity is getting to that spot where I don't know if he's getting dementia. He's 86 years old, and Jack wasn't the health freak in his life. Still smoked and did all the stuff teenagers do, basically. So and the fact that he's lasted 86 years is actually a testament to his longevity. If Jack checks out anytime soon, it'll be a very, very sad day, but it will be a celebration of life. Because if somebody came to me and said, we're going to give you Jack Nicholson's life, would you do it? It would be very hard to say no. Now, the only thing I don't like about his life was the having a wife and then going somewhere else and having kids and all that. That's something that's not in my DNA. So that's probably the only thing. Again, we're not all perfect. I get it. But again, putting it all together, I'd say I'd probably take that one and have fun with it. Are we 5 minutes again? Again, I'm not paying attention to this clock, guys. I start talking, all of a sudden, it's 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. At least we still have Stu from the old school. Oh, yeah. Stu, I feel like Stu hasn't aged in 20 years. He still sounds the same, still looks the same. I got you, Joe. Third shot time. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, boy. My stomach is getting warm. All right. Here we go. Shot number 3. Halfway there. All right. There we go. One of the hard parts about having a shot glass that's not clear is you don't know where the rim is. Or you don't know where you're filling it up. And I already spilled something the last time I drank here. It pissed me off. It came on the computer. All that shit. There we go. See the water? I don't know if you guys can see it. You see it? I got to get the right lighting in here. It's in there. All right, guys. Salud. Shot number 3. That one went down a little better. Oof. Akeem, I like how you wrote facts with a Z. I'm going to start doing that. We got to get one of those nights where we have wine, and I'm planning on it. Yeah, until you've spent more money on me drinking than anyone has ever spent money on me drinking, and I don't even know what you look like. What do you mean I'm stalling? What are you talking about? I took 3 shots in 15 minutes. Diane Cannon is the last of the OGs, man. She's the last one standing. I'd like to meet her before she goes because she's a Laker fan through and through. Joe, please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks Jack Nicholson's a bad actor. You're the only one that thinks Jack Nicholson's a bad actor. That is blasphemous. As a matter of fact, if I had a moderate, if I wasn't feeling good right now, really really good, I'd have Search bounce you for about 15 minutes because that can't happen here. You don't say Jack doesn't act well. Sorry, that doesn't. I'm not not on my watch, buddy. Not here. Let's see, where are we here? I'm about to time out somebody. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give Cool Bro a warning. We don't talk bad about Jack Nicholson. And if you really, really, really want to know how great he is in acting, go watch Batman 1989 and you'll see. Hilarious, funny, deviant, everything. Bottoms up. Maybe Gerald agrees. Gerald finally needed to take a good old rest because Gerald is on the mic, on the board, nonstop, all day, every day. He's either driving somewhere to pick someone up or he's on this channel. So he kindly said that he it didn't look like he was going to come. So it is what it is. SS. When am I coming back to Turlock? Wait a minute. Where the SS? Who are? Show yourself. Who's SS from Turlock? For those of you who don't know what that is, Turlock is where I grew up. What's up, sports baby? Thanks for coming. Who is SS? It's not ringing a bell here. So, for those of you who don't know, I grew up in a town called Turlock, California. Turlock, California. It's right next to Modesto. But you probably heard of Turlock because it's the hometown of the ever popular Colin Kaepernick. As a matter of fact, I grew up with his family. I knew his pops Rick, his mother Teresa, and I was really, really good friends with his brother Kyle. We used to watch black box wrestling pay-per-views, played football together, hung out, rollerbladed, all that stuff for high school, all through high school. Riverbank couch tequilas. Nah, I'm not drawing a bell. Sorry, SS. I don't know who the hell you are. I see when Diana gets pissed. I still don't know, man. I'm sorry, I don't know. Oh, with the Sopranos. You know how many friends of mine watch the Sopranos? But Jack Nicholson is, in my opinion, a bad actor. He did bad in that. Okay, Search, you're gonna have to put Cool Bro on timeout. Give him 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Cool Bro, you need to cool, bro. You need to cool, bro. Cool down. I'm gonna give you a 5-minute timeout. Jack is great in anything. Have you seen As Good as It Gets? Watch As Good as It Gets. If you don't want to watch Batman or Terms of Endearment or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or The Shining or Chinatown, you don't want to watch any of those, watch As Good as It Gets. That was a great movie. But then again, he's in like 20 great movies, so take your pick. Who should be the lead? Hey, you guys want me to talk about movies? You want me to talk about the Lakers? I'm going to let you guys drive this. I'm already driving. Well, I'm not going to be driving tonight, but you guys are controlling the whole theme of tonight's show. So have at it. You tell me what you guys want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it. Well, the fact that Colin hasn't played in, 6 years? That's probably why. And he was already struggling the last couple of years he was there. Thing is, in the NFL, man, is if you're not constantly escalating your game, those coaches and those defenses in the NFL will catch up to you. And Colin, unfortunately, could not catch up. And then, of course, we all know what happened after that, and we'll leave it at that. But it's a tough situation, especially being from, and knowing his family and understanding kind of what's going on there. There's a story there, but it's not a story that I want to talk about right now. But there's a story maybe down the road. I'll tell you all, and we'll see. We'll see if it's warranted at that point. But I still don't know who SS is. Oh, wait a minute. SS. Who is SS? Is that Stella? Is that you, Stella? The Departed, my favorite Jack movie. Of course. I mean, he was basically playing himself in that movie with a really bad Boston accent. Okay, good. Alice, thank you for bringing up the Lakers stuff. Okay, let's talk about the next game. So the Lakers are playing the LA Clippers on Wednesday so that they have 2 days off to prepare for this. They're playing the Clippers at home, 7 p.m. game on ESPN. What are the Lakers going to do here? What is going to be their focus Wednesday night? What do you guys think? You think they're going to come in there knowing that, hey, we need to start this homestand with a win against the Clippers? They win the season series if they win Wednesday. They'll have won 3 games. They'll have won 3 games to 1. So that's a positive after getting their arses kicked for the last, 7 years, almost all losses except for a couple. So focus, if I'm the coach, I sit this team down and go, all right, guys, this is where we make our run. And we started off against a formidable team in our house. We've let these guests stay here for 24 years. This is the last time, if they don't meet in the playoffs, but regular season, this is the last time you will ever play the Clippers in a regular season in the same building together. So I need you to harness everything you can and send these guys out, the losers they are, to Inglewood, which is, the irony there is hilarious. Where did the Lakers start? Their journey? Inglewood. And we're sending them to Inglewood, where they used to play. So, yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia here that people aren't talking about. There's a lot of history. This is 24 years of Staples Center / crypto.com. Just saying that makes me want to gag. History here. And you can put a button on it and send these losers out, losers forever. I don't think the Lakers are going to play the Clippers in the playoffs. I hope they do, but I don't think it's going to work out the way. I think it'd be too fitting for that to happen. So get this win, send them out for good, win the season series, and then you're going to have some momentum the following night. You want to sit LeBron at that point? I'm sure that Anthony Davis and everyone else can beat Washington. And then you really, really start focusing on what's next. And what's next is Denver. And the Lakers are freaking due. They are due. It's a Saturday, 5:30 p.m. primetime game on ABC. It's time to get a win at home against the champs. And then you got Oklahoma City, Sacramento, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Sacramento on the road. That's kind of that gauntlet. And then right after that, they're going to play the Warriors, Atlanta, Philly, Indiana. So the Lakers are going to be at home from February 28th to March 24th, except for one hour flight to Sacramento in between it. So what do we do there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What is the record going to be for the next 12 games? Can they go 8-4? 7-5? 6-6? I want you guys to start thinking about that. The next 12 games. What are the Lakers going to do with that? For me, ideal, good scenario would be 8-4. Terrible scenario, 4-8. 4-8 probably puts them concrete into the 10th spot. If they go 8-4, they could sneak into that 8-7 seed. So that's kind of how that balances out. That's how it balances out. Am I 5 minutes in already? Okay, yeah, see? Even my internal clock is there. Shoot. Killing me, man. All right. There we go. This was to the brim. You guys can see it, right? There you go. It's like one's good, one's bad. One's good, one's bad. John, I think that's probably the most realistic one, considering how they played. Alice, the Lakers would have to buck the trend to get a 9-3 record on that one. I believe me, no one wants us to go 12-0 more than I do, but I don't know. I don't know about that one, guys. We're gonna have to wait and see, and we're gonna be on this roller coaster for the next 12 games. They're gonna be all pretty much West Coast games, which means they're all going to be late games, except for maybe one that's a 5:30 game. Let me see what the schedule was. So yeah, so every game is going to be basically 5:30 and beyond for the next 12 games. So we're going to have a lot of late nightcaps. Woo-wee. Man, I am burning up. I can feel the numbness coming. See, this is how smart Intel is. This is how smart Intel is. Even if he wasn't deliberate in this, and maybe he was. Intel, I'd have to be around you to really know if you're cagey like this. But the fact that you sent the money, now I'm screwed. Now I can't bow out. So if you hadn't sent the money, if I decided to stop at 3, it can just say, hey, man, send me 75. Send me 75. I got 3 shots, right? Now, he sends the 150 based off those 6 shots. So now I'm like, Jesus, now I got to live up to my word. So here I am. 4 shots in. Luckily, there's only 2 more shots. 8:05, watch The Shining alone in the dark. I didn't think The Shining was that scary. You know what was scary growing up? The first Nightmare on Elm Street was scary because everything was dark. This psychological scary stuff doesn't do anything for me. That never bothered me. Yeah, admission. It's back and forth. So one feels good, the other doesn't. One felt good, and the other doesn't. Maybe it was because I was talking a certain way, and I didn't pay attention enough while I was drinking. I don't know I don't do this every night, man. I do this because you guys want to watch it. Agree, Joe. Freddie killed it. Let's see here. Watch Room 237. Oh yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. It still gives me nightmares. Exorcism. Peruvian guy. Welcome, by the way. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. Welcome. Please like and subscribe. Exorcism. Everyone that was, let's say, 5-10 years older than I was would always say Exorcism. Now, I saw The Exorcism when I was a kid. I can remember watching it, but I don't know if I really watched it all the way through. So it wasn't anything that kind of affected me. Let's see. So here's the story on The Shining now that we're talking about it. So Stephen King wrote that story, right? Stephen King did not like Jack Nicholson in that movie. Now, he was basically cool bro, but back then, right? But he had a valid point on why he didn't like Jack. And it's very true, too, even from the opening scene when they're driving up to the hotel. A little bit of a spoiler there, guys, but I'm not going to spoil it too much in case you haven't watched it. But what he said was, in the book, the guy that Jack Torrance was a straight-laced guy. And in the book, he becomes that guy. It wasn't something where he was already kind of weird. So if you watch Jack Nicholson, he's Jack the whole time. There was no transformation really. It was just him. It was Jack, and that's who he was the whole movie. What was supposed to happen was he was supposed to be this straight-laced guy who slowly develops into this person that's crazy. I'll leave it at that. Okay, where else are we? Look it up. I agree with King. Guys, basketball. Sports baby, thank you for balancing us back to why this show is. It is called the Lakers Fast Break, and this is the Lakers Nightcap. And this is why I wanted a show at 9, because I knew you mofos were going to do something tonight. I had a feeling. Now, I know it's easy for me to say that now, but I did. I had a feeling. And I couldn't do it at 11. I mean, I guess I could have, and I would have, but I preferred to do it now. Because now I can go drink like a gallon of water and get this thing out of my system before I go to sleep. So that's that. So going back to the Lakers. So the Lakers, I could talk a little bit about tonight's game, or I should say this afternoon's game. I don't keep saying tonight. I'm so wired for the 7:30 games. But the game tonight, the issue tonight is every time they have this lull, it's like a floodgate that just doesn't stop. So they get close. They're down 4. They're down 5. They're down 2. And it's like immediately the opposing team goes on a 7-8-0 run, 10-0 run, and then they're down 10-11, like at the blink of an eye. And it's all because they can't get a rebound. They can't make a shot. And they're not running back on defense when they don't get the call they want. So the complaining about the refs, even if it's somewhat warranted, it doesn't matter, guys. You're still making the same mistakes you're making game in and game out during the year, especially against quality teams. Now, Phoenix isn't a championship team at the moment, but they're a quality team. They are a quality team. They are playing in the West, and they're 10 games over 500. They've guaranteed themselves at this moment more than likely to be either a 5 or a 6 seed. Unless they go to some crazy losing streak and Sacramento goes on some crazy winning streak, you are looking at likely Phoenix to either finish 5th or 6th. So what are you going to do now? What's next? What are you going to do? Are you really going to let this game affect you for the next game? At this point, no. They're going to probably chalk it up as it's a road game. We lost to a good team, blah, blah, blah. Fine. I need you guys now to make up ground. You're going to be home for 11 of the next 12 games. You have to win 7 of those home games. 7 at the very least to make up some ground here. You need to get the 7th seed. If you're not going to get the 6th and 5th, you got to get the 7th seed and guarantee yourself at least a playoff spot. You're going to play an extra game, but you deserve it. You know, you sucked enough to where you have to play that extra game, but you got to get that 7th seed. That has to be the goal. So we're going to get a chance to see what the next step is here within the next couple of days. And I'm not feeling anything at this point. I'm not feeling, are they going to come into Wednesday and play a competitive game or get blown out or blow out the Clippers? I have no idea. I'm going to just let the game develop as it does and then see what happens after that. That's all that's all I can do. Let's see. Aim for 7th seed or above. Yes, we'll see. Absolutely. This game stole a year. Did it really, Dante? I mean, were you really that nervous? I had a little pit in my stomach, but I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was frustrated. Don't tell Joe you don't like Jack Nicholson. Cool, bro. You're killing me over here, man. You know, Intel telepathically told me he wasn't going to – Search, told me he wasn't going to set you off to the corner like they did in what was that movie, Blair Witch? Since we're talking about scary movies, remember what they did to that guy? They put him in the corner or something. Are we gonna have to put you in the corner? Huh? Are we gonna have to put you in the corner? I don't think that was it, Kurt. I don't think that was it. AD's issue tonight was he had to be careful after the first 2 fouls. And he played tentative. He was still pretty good, but he had to play tentative so that he was available. I wish, and this was, I guess, the only time we could allow this without issue, which he had sat LeBron and AD down towards the end of the first quarter because AD was in foul trouble. Otherwise, I would have been like, what the hell are you doing? Because the game previous, he sat both of them down, and that's when the Spurs went on this, I don't know, what was it, 8-9-0 run or something. Just mind-boggling to me why he does that. Joe down 6, then went to kitchen up 14 again. See, and that's what it is, guys. They've been doing this all year. They do it all year. They've been doing it all year. They don't have that third guy, man. They don't have that third guy that can stymie a run by the opposer. And then when they're on defense, when they're not getting those baskets, there's this laziness and frustration that they kind of allow themselves to get themselves lulled into, and then the team can essentially go that way. Man, until you're just dropping the dollars tonight, huh? You're just dropping them. Is it shot time? Is it number 5? Is it number 5? Like Kobe time? You guys seen that? You seen that GIF where Kobe's talking to somebody in the stands? He's like, okay, cinco mas. Cinco mas. Well, not 5 more, but cinco. Okay. There we go. There we go. That was the best pour I've done. All right, folks. There, you see the juice? You see the juice? Ooh. Ugh. Ugh. I put some kind of mint in my mouth here. Jesus. Tequilas. It's not bad, actually. It's actually not bad. Got to answer some of your guys' comments here. Thanks, Intel. No, Serge. I can't go through that whole lemon and lime and salt thing. Look, I just take shots and I leave. That lemon lime stuff, I don't really do. It's a waste of my time. Then I got my hands get all sticky. Then I smell like lime the whole freaking night. So back to the Lakers. So today's game, the usual suspects. We talked about D'Angelo Russell. We talked about AD. We talked about LeBron. This is probably the most frustrating part. Is they played good games. They played good games, man. They did their job according to their talent. It's not enough. They need another guy. They essentially have 5 starters and no depth. They have no depth. I just realized that today. I really, really, really realized that today. Think about it. They have AD. He played 42 minutes. Rui, who should have probably played more minutes, had 26. 37 from LeBron and D'Lo, and then 35 minutes from Austin Reeves. Prince played 27. Maybe Dinwiddie shouldn't have played as many minutes as he had because he was 1 for 5 from the field, missed all but one 3-point shot, and he was just not – he wasn't that guy. And I wasn't expecting him to be that guy. I think it's unfair. And when you look at the stats, they shot over 40% from 3. They shot over 50% from the field. The thing is, they only got 8 free throws. But they weren't aggressive enough, really, the whole game to really warrant the refereeing issue. Unless I completely missed the game in that realm. Did I, guys? Usually I'm pretty good at catching that. Usually I'm pretty good at catching that. Was it? Was it? Did they really not get the calls? Are they mad that Anthony Davis got called for fouls like Shaq used to get into foul trouble on the road? Because that's what it reminded me of. Shaq would always get these ticky-tack fouls on the road. Sacramento, Portland, San Antonio. He'd get 2 fouls within the first 6 minutes, and he'd have to sit down. And then everything from then on was, we got to hold the fort until Shaq gets back at the beginning of the second quarter. It was never a problem in the regular season, but it was, of course, playoff time was hard. Booker, Durant didn't particularly have a phenomenal game. They played their games. They did all right, but they weren't out of this world. Grayson Allen, of course, played above his head. Royce O'Neal played above his head. Bol played up above his head. But those are guys that are going to get their open shots because you're covering Booker and Durant. So they played this game in terms of scheme-wise well. They played it well from a defensive standpoint, but they couldn't get the rebounds when they needed it. They had the missed shots, but they couldn't get a damn rebound. Nurkic, by the way, am I the only one that sees Nurkic at like 7'4"? That guy is huge. And AD has got, he's wide. Nurkic looks like Sabonis, Arvydas Sabonis. He's a big boy. He had 22 rebounds tonight. 22 rebounds. Didn't expect that. 12 rebounds, and it would have been a good game. 22, I'd say he was probably the player of the game in the end. Grayson Allen was obviously the other half, or maybe, you could say he was. But Nurkic is really probably why they won tonight. Today. And I don't think anybody would argue. But it's the same problem, though. I'm not going to just put it all on Nurkic. That's why they won, really. What he did made them win. But the point is, the Lakers cannot rebound. They don't box out. They're not. Their instincts to the ball are not there. This is not being taught. The fundamentals of boxing out and getting good position and getting good court balance. This stuff is not being taught to this team. Why? Is it because it's too remedial? Is it because the game is too fast now? You don't want to wear out your guys in practice? Is this crap really what's going on? How else can you explain it? How else can you really, really explain it other than that? So then what do we do at this point? What do? We don't practice. We don't do fundamentals. We just go out there and just shoot the ball and try to play defense? Is that really what the game is about now? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Just like I believe that the more you punch that brick, the more you punch that wood, your body gets stronger. You have all the technology, you have all the medicine to recover these days at a moment's notice. It's here, guys. It's right here. This is the problem. This is the problem right here. The mentality isn't there. And they need it. They need that mentality. They want to beat Denver. They want to beat the Clippers. They want to maybe beat. Look at the Celtics. As much as I want to yak right now, is it really? Damn, that was quick. Interrupted you. I was about to go off. All right, number 6 is coming, folks. I am battling right now. You guys can't tell, can you? That's all premeditated, by the way. That's premeditation. That's mental focus. I'm here to do a job. I'm trying to act like I'm not being affected by it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not affected by it. There you go. All right. Intel, you bastard. Number 6. This one's for the homies. for all you. Intel, muchas gracias. Salud. Oh. Ooh. I'm glad that's over. I always like hearing that sound. Do you guys hear that? I've never checked. The little money spilling. Yeah, my stomach's boiling right now. I ate a good dinner too, a nice healthy dinner. So my body's going like, and I've been eating relatively well this last few weeks. My body's like, what the hell are you sending down this area at Sunday at 10? Yeah. It's okay, water's gonna save me. All right, sports baby. Let's get back to business. I got to get back to business. Sports baby. Let's see what you said here, baby. Let's see. If you're going to tell me that Reeves, D'Lo, and Rui not good players, you don't know basketball. The Lakers guy on your show, John, is it. Saying Lakers starting lineup up not better than the Kings. You kidding me? Okay, sports baby. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. There are major deficiencies that D'Lo Reeves has. And we all know what those are on defense. However, they are more than adequate on the other side. So when Reeves gets open shots, he usually hits them. D'Lo has a mid-range game, a three-point game, can handle the ball, can shoot quick. Today, if you don't believe me, you saw the volleyball three-point shot that he did at the corner, right? So D'Lo has been playing phenomenal basketball for D'Lo this season, especially the last month and a half. You have to give him credit for that. Austin Reeves started out bad, has recovered. No ill will there. I like D'Lo. I like Austin, and I like Rui. They are talented. You are right. But the problem is that it's not enough. Because you have such a huge deficiency in leadership on this team from not only the coaches, but also from your main guys. And I know that's not sounding right when you hear it, but there's a certain attitude, there's a certain identity that you want your star players to create around the role players. I don't see it. It's not consistent. It's not there. LeBron isn't showing that we're going to go out and just stomp on these people. He's too busy complaining to the refs and allowing his players to play without him. Immediately after that, that sets a bad precedent. It sets a bad tone. It sets everything bad mentally. And tonight, not only did he do it, but then again, I'm not going to just criticize LeBron, but AD has a very bad habit of twirling or dancing with these camera people on the end of the courts. He needs to stop doing that, okay? You can figure that out, AD. Come on. You're bright enough, you know. Stop doing that. And what did it result in those two situations? Both three-point shots made. That's 6 points. 14 offensive rebounds by the Phoenix Suns. From my memory, that cost the Lakers at least 20 points. And what did the Lakers lose by? 10? So imagine this. Let's just imagine this. Imagine if you held them to 7 offensive rebounds. You're saving yourself 14 points and you win by 4 on the road. Intel, I've been preparing for your challenge. Now, I didn't know you were going to do 6 in 30 minutes. But for some reason, I just felt that you were going to bring some thunder at some point, and I kind of felt it was going to happen tonight. I really, really felt like it was going to happen tonight because this is the easiest night for that to happen. Why? For two reasons. Number one, we had a nice gap in between post game and the game. The other is Nightcap was at 9 o'clock. So if I did get myself, you know what, faced, I have some time to recover before I probably wake up in the morning. And again, guys, I'm a 280-pound man. I know I might not look it on TV, but yes, I am 280 pounds. I can retain alcohol. And for those of you who talk to geezers that are my age, I'm 45, going to be 46 next Friday. They'll usually say, "Oh, I can't drink like I used to." When people start talking to you like that, just a heads up. For those of you on the radio, on the Apple podcast that can't see what I'm doing, I'm twirling one of my fingers. I'm not drunk. I got a nice buzz going. Doing anything for my birthday. So, what's great about this year is my birthday is on a Friday. Thank you, the Earth, for having a leap year this year because there is a 29th day in February this year. So, that falls into Friday, which means, if I'm correct, sorry, Neil deGrasse Tyson, if I screw this up, I am a little tipsy, but that means I'm going to have two Friday birthdays in back-to-back years, which means we're going to party for an entire weekend. Now, even if it was on a Tuesday, still party Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm like Dennis Rodman. I celebrate for the whole week usually. So I usually just pick one of my dillweed friends who can actually go do something when they can. It's gotten harder to do that because a lot of my friends have gotten married and they have responsibilities and they don't know how to manage their time, or they have wives that twirl them around doing whatever the hell it is that they do. So Friday, dinner, drinks, one of my favorite drinks. If you guys are ever in the Temecula area, I want you to remember this. It's on tape now, so obviously you won't have to worry about remembering it. You can always come back to the show. It's 2/25/24 in terms of the date. On the Lakers Nightcap, there's one of the best restaurant, in my opinion, my cousin's restaurant, my first cousin's restaurant. It's a restaurant called Savage Chef in a town called Menifee in the Temecula area. And Savage Cowboy, it's a whiskey, Jameson, with some nice stuff in it. That stuff will knock your socks off. You could drink 5 to 10 of them, feel real good, and still walk out there not having to worry about yakking everywhere. Of course, if you had 20, that'd be a different story. But again, great drinks, great food. I'm talking the best steak in town because this area doesn't have really a legit steakhouse. So if you want to get a good steak, you want to go to Savage Chef. And then comes the desserts. The desserts, all that stuff. I usually don't eat desserts when I go to the restaurant, but he has a dessert that he uses cotton candy and Lucky Charms with some kind of ice cream and thing. Because my cousin got, he was in the Culinary Academy in New York, was a chef with Wolfgang Puck in Vegas. So he brought Vegas and New York to this little hole in the wall area in California, and he legitimized it. And I guarantee you, you go to this restaurant, you ask for Dylan Soro, my cousin, my blood, my guy, and you will get the best service and the best food you could ever want. So I highly recommend it. And of course, if you guys are in town, you got to call your boy. You got to call your boy, man. I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. I'll take you out, do whatever you want on me. Until, dude, you've paid your dues, okay? You're in town. If you're in town, You damn well better believe everything's on the house with me. So let's see. What else we got? Did you just drop another couple bucks? Where are we here? All right, let me get back to where I was. Thanks, Joe, Darren, Serge, best crew around. Thanks, brother. No, thank you, Intel. You make it fun. I want everyone to know Intel made tonight's show even better. It had nothing to do with me. Because all I was going to do was come in here and complain about the Lakers, complain about the game tonight, and then rag them on what the hell they're going to do on Wednesday. You all know that, right? And then what the hell are we going to do the rest of the way? But in the end, we've talked about this before, right? We're controlled by the bums who we hate. And you just have to admit it. At the end of the day, I love the Lakers. Doesn't matter if it's Jeannie is the owner, Mitch is the GM, Rob is the GM. At the end of the day, let's be thankful, right? I mean, the Lakers have won 6 championships in this century. The Kings, the Pelicans, the Clippers, Oklahoma City Thunder. How many have they won? None. Won 6. So we might get angry. We might swear it off. But in the end, we're going to be right here talking about them, watching the game, criticizing them or supporting them. Because we're true fans. We're the true fans. We're the true fans. What is it? We're lyrical souls. We're here for the best and the worst of times. And I always felt like if I was just to swear off the game, I felt like the game got the best of me. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't. I'm not saying that because I'm a little bit buzzed right now either. Because there is an element of in the moment feeling at that point. It's legitimate. But right now, there's also in the moment legitimacy in that it's unlikely I'm ever going to ever not watch the Lakers or the Dodgers or the Steelers or the NFL or the NBA or the Major League Baseball or golf or tennis because I'm a sports guy. It's what I do. It's what I like. People like to go spelunking. People like to go surfing. People like to go kayaking. I like sports. As much as it's been diluted, I really, truly still believe that within those confines of that 60 minutes, 48 minutes, 9 innings, 3 periods, or 3 to 5 sets, or 18 holes, all that other BS goes away. It's just the before and after. But during that time, nothing can touch that because that's where the talent is. You can't fabricate that. You just can't. Can't fabricate it. I didn't mean to go into a soliloquy here, but hell, that's what it is. So, Intel, I poured myself a little vodka. I was supposed to drink a little sip here. See, I had the Tito's here. So, yeah, smooth. Darren, dropping the dimes too tonight. Gotta put you up on the board here, man. Gotta put you on the board here. If I could damn control this stupid board. Woo! What else you guys got for me? What else you got? Cool, bro. Still talking about The Shining? Look at that. I'm just seeing everybody dropping dimes, man. See, this is what happens when we all support each other. And for me, when you guys drop the dimes, the pennies, the dollars, it just makes me feel good for Gerald. Because Gerald's my guy. Gerald is my guy, is always going to be my guy. And it helps him. He invited me to the show 3 years ago. It was at a time when I was like, everyone has a podcast. I'm not going to go start a podcast. We were thinking about it on Lakers Ball. Do we do a community podcast? Blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't going to happen. Then all of a sudden, just by sheer coincidence, Here we are, Gerald coming out of nowhere. Hey, you guys want to join me with the Lakers Fast Break? I'm like, Lakers Fast Break? That's a pretty good name. Let me go check this out. Let me represent. And the rest is history. Here we are. When I got there, I think they had maybe 90 subscribers. Now we're 1,410 or 12 or whatever strong. So salute again to everyone out there listening. Struggling the last few drinks here. Joe, what do you think about Pippen, Longley, Grant, New? Hey, that's a great question. Sports baby, you've been on fire tonight. Hold on, let me put you up here real quick. And Deviant, I'm going to get to you too, buddy. Thank you so much. I think this is fantastic. Pragmatist versus the antagonist, right? This is what this is. It's very movie-like. So I want to see what Pippen says. Now, the weird thing is Jordan kind of made up the thing with Longley, so I'm wondering why he's doing it. And then Grant was on the Last Dance, so what's he gonna say? Grant, Robert Parrish, Bill Cartwright, those three, I know have said things in the past about Jordan's aggressiveness, if you will. So I'm curious to see a little bit more information on that. Are they going to try to tear down MJ's empire? Is it going to work? See, the problem with Pippen, unfortunately, is Pippen has contradicted himself too much. So his credibility is a little shot. It's a little shot. However, I can sympathize a little with him because it does come to a sensitive thing a little bit. It does come to a sensitive thing with what was going on with his ex-wife and Michael Jordan's son, even though they're now apparently separated. I thought I don't believe it was a coincidence that he kind of started going cuckoo after that happened. And if Michael Jordan is this all-encompassing, great, black Jesus, black cat type, he's probably thinking, man, how did you even allow this to happen? Did he pull out the excuse of, well, he's his own person. He can go ahead and do whatever. Folks, when you're a true alpha, when you're a true type A, it doesn't matter if your kid is 5, 10, 18, or 40. You have influence. And if you don't have influence, there's a break there. Something happened. Case in point, God rest his soul, my father lived till 62. Okay. I was 40. And even at my 40th, 39, 36, 29, 15, what my dad thought was extremely important to me. It meant something to me. I loved him to death. It mattered. So when you see what the dynamics of that was, it totally makes sense. It makes sense, especially Michael Jordan. I'm not even Michael Jordan. My dad's not even Michael Jordan. It's like, how does this even happen? So there's going to be a lot of this. It's coinciding with the sports thing, obviously, because they were, professional basketball players, but there's also a hint of a little bit of the reality type thing. So yeah, I will be watching that and we will be discussing it. So thank you, Deviant. I appreciate it. One of the silver linings in my father passed. Well, I shouldn't say silver lining. One of the things that was, at least I could sleep well at night with Pops, is my dad at least traveled the world in his 62 years. I'm talking, he saw everything in his life. It wasn't quite a celebration. I think if he had lasted another 10 years, I would have said, yes, let's celebrate my dad's life, because 62 was too young. But my dad at least saw things. My dad was around. My dad was there in those Egypts and Switzerlands and the Middle East and Europe and all those things. He saw a lot of things. So I'm at least happy for that. I just wish he was here because I missed the hell out of him. My mother too. Joe, what do you think that Pippen? Okay, let's see here. Juanita raised them. Jordan funded the life. Yeah, Dante. So you're Michael Jordan. There's only a few people that have been Michael Jordan. What does that mean? I'd say Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods. In terms of sports, maybe Barry Bonds. Would you guys say Barry Bonds? Jordan, Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods. We're talking about beyond culture, transcendent culture phenoms. And what was going to happen in that environment of family? What happened with those four individuals? I'm going to use those four individuals. Babe Ruth was married, but obviously liked to visit other baseball fields, if you will. Muhammad Ali, known womanizer. Michael Jordan, maybe not as aggressive or public, but there are stories out there. And then, of course, Tiger Woods, probably the biggest one in the media era of social media and all that. So things carried a little bit more. So the moral of the story is do what Derek Jeter did. If I was to advise any professional athlete or professional musician or professional traveler, anyone, doesn't matter who it is, coaching, athlete, musician, doesn't matter. If you are going to travel for a profession, which is what these guys do 6 to 9 months out of the year, I highly recommend you do not commit to a family. Not until you retire. Because you cannot raise a family correctly when you're not there. I'm not here to be a marriage counselor. I'm just saying. So we're going to see this documentary here. We're going to see Last Dance versus the opposing dance. And it's going to be entertaining. It's what it is. We're human beings. We're not the perfect species at that point, right? Well, Bauer, Gary, is a whole different situation. Bauer is a cautionary tale of stupidity. Trevor Bauer gets a $45 million contract, and really, him bowing out the way he did completely derailed the Dodgers, by the way. I mean, really derailed them. They really needed him, and he would have pitched well, too. But Trevor Bauer did something, consent or not, and it looks like everything that I've read was all consent, but you still don't do it. How are you that dumb? People are getting accused for stuff for not even doing 90% of the stuff he did. Why would you even think of it? No, cool, bro, I'm not saying you're annoying. I'm sorry, Alice doesn't think you're annoying. She's just wanting to stay on topic. Do I sound drunk yet, guys? I mean, I'm 18 minutes past what I'm supposed to stop, but kind of having a good time here. You know who started that? You know who started that, Gary? The NDAs. This is what I heard. Again, guys, I can't confirm it 100%, but I heard Chuck Berry started that way back when. He had contracts like, hey, you are willing to hang out. You are willing to do this. You are willing to do that. Sheed, where you been, man? You at the Waffle House? Hey, I could use some chicken and waffles right now, actually. I wouldn't be able to sleep well, though, but again, it does sound good. So, who's here?
What in the hell did
what
you
the
do?
hell are you doing here?
What in the hell did you do to get $150 from Intel Wild? Did you go to his house and try to rip him off or something?
He sent me a message.
Okay.
Us a message on post game. It was like the last few lines. I just went on, and here we are.
Oh, well, thank you, Intel Wild.
No, we got more money, actually. We got a bunch of guys dropping 2, 3, 5.
I know, and I appreciate it. But Dante, Darren, Cash, Deviant Flux, all you guys are great. Thank you so much for doing so. It's very much appreciated by us here at the Lakers Fast Break.
So what are you doing here? I thought you were calling it a night.
Oh, I said I was on my way. I wouldn't make it back in time, but I didn't know you were going to go on for over an hour. Usually,
I had look. This is the best crowd I think I've ever had on Lakers.
Well, that's because of you early, man. That's
see. I mean, did we not discuss this?
Oh my God! Well, tell
9
the
o'clock.
Lakers
9 o'clock is the sweet spot, folks. 9 o'clock is the sweet spot. The problem is
tell the Lakers to start games every day at 12:30.
They're not though. This is not KCal road games where we can do that. This is more like Fox Sports at 7:30, right?
Yes. But I'm just like, I saw that earlier and I'm looking, I'm like, what in the hell did you do to Intel Wild to make him give you that much money?
Look, I'm going to reciprocate, okay? The Intel, if he ever comes out here, he's going to have the time of his life. Gerald, don't tell Joe the words I hate. Yeah. Cool Bro apparently doesn't think Jack Nicholson is a good
he's been on The Shining
actor.
all day. He just can't get over it.
Yeah.
The Shining is a revered movie. I was wrong, though. It's not the 1970s.
And Alice has been all over him, and Alice is about tired with Cool Bro's assessment of Jack Nicholson.
It's a 1980s
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to lie. I agree. I agree with her trepidation towards it.
Well, we were saying that earlier to him. It's a 1980 movie. So technically it's 1980s, just like Raging Bull and all that. But the thing is, Cool Bro, Jack Nicholson, you have two types of actors. You have actors who actually play the role and cater themselves and their style and their acting ability to. Thank you, Intel, again. Once again, truly appreciate it. Something. We love you, Intel. We love all of you. Appreciate that. But then you have like, for instance, Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis gets Joe. You got to admit this. He absorbs himself into the role and transforms himself into that character. And then I said to Cool Bro earlier, there are those actors like Jack Nicholson where the roles transform to him. He plays Jack Nicholson in every single role that he's in. It's you. And again, he's acquired taste, but Jack Nicholson at his best, like a few, Good Men, A Few Good Men, The Departed, absolutely tremendous performances by the Batman. He carried Batman, the original 1989 Batman. It wasn't Michael Keaton. I'm sorry to say, it was Jack Nicholson's Joker, because it was Jack Nicholson eating up and chewing up all the scenery there. So,
well, the reason why is that was the beginning of a culture change. You had a culture change, and Michael Keaton's such a genius. And I'm not overhyping Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is a comic genius and an acting genius. He knew. Him and Tim Burton knew. We know that Jack is going to dominate this. You can either choose to be this guy or that, or go against it. And if you go against it, that means the movie's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Keaton, if anyone knows how to scale back, it's Michael Keaton. Because Michael Keaton was phenomenal in Batman, and Michael Keaton is continuously phenomenal. I don't want to say he's underrated. He's not.
No, but that Batman, when you watch the Batman, it is him taking a backseat to Jack Nicholson's performance. And
that's weird at that time. This is 1988 when they're shooting. 89 it came out, right?
Yeah.
But
correct.
There was a shift in the culture of the people. And I'm going to correlate it with your favorite, one of your favorite industries, which is professional wrestling. Jack said something, and it's going to correlate to this. You'll really like this, G. Jack said, a great actor has to be a great writer. So what does that mean? So I'll give you an example. For The Departed, there's a scene. Sorry if you guys haven't seen The Departed. There's a little bit of a spoiler. It's not a big one, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways. There's a scene where he shoots a man and a woman at the beach. And there's this dialogue where he's talking about how the lady fell weird. and his second hand, his right-hand guy, I should say, is standing there with an axe. And when he shot the lady in the head, he goes, she fell funny. That was him. That wasn't Scorsese. That wasn't the writer. He put that in there.
Yeah.
And that's not the first time he's done that. He said a great actor is a great writer. So coinciding that with, the professional wrestling arena, I'm going to use Scott Hall as an example. Scott Hall. A lot of people don't know this. If you guys like wrestling, gee, I don't know if you know this. You might have seen it on one of the biographies.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Hall. Do you know that Scott Hall is the one that told Sting to do what he did with the makeup and the black and all that, right?
Yep.
So Scott Hall also went to Vince when he got hired at the WWF at the time, WWE, that he wanted to pursue this a Cuban type character versus some Captain America type.
Yep.
And they roll with it. So if you're a performer, actor, wrestler, doesn't matter what it is, you have to be a good storyteller already. Now, if you're really good at communicating with the writer, the director, and all that, and making that work, cool. Now, there are rarities. There are exclusives. For example, Oliver Stone, Quentin Tarantino, right? Those guys typically don't want you to skew. There's guys that are definite. And that's okay, because the movie is going to make them look great either way. Martin Scorsese, shoot. What makes Martin Scorsese, in my opinion, the greatest director of all time? He's got the perfect blend of knowing how to tell a story and allowing his talent to continue to do what they do best. Something that Darvin Ham can't do. He can't use every ounce of that ability of his player and then add a little bit more.
Yeah, he said he took a lot of inspiration from the Tony Montana character in Scarface. Absolutely.
And at that time, when we're talking about time, you're talking about The Shining in 1980. You're talking about Raging Bull in 1980. It's easy for us to say, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that, because you're looking at the scope of 2024. 1980, 90% of the stuff that's available now is not there.
And they couldn't do all the things. I mean, they didn't have the budgets, in a lot of cases to do the type of things. I mean, you got to look at it this way, cool bro. Star Wars had just revolutionized special effects just 3 years earlier. They were still, in a lot of ways, at the studios making things in old-fashioned concept and ways in 1980. I understand that you absolutely cannot stand The Shining, and especially because he really hates the scene, the famous elevator bleeding scene. He absolutely hates that scene. And I'm just like, it's imagery. Kubrick was about imagery, about on the screen, visual. And what could you do with visual effects at that period of time? You don't have the tens of millions of dollars or CGIs or, green screens or, they didn't have that then. A lot of it was practical effects. A lot of it was just, literally going to whatever, supplier you get to get you buckets and buckets and buckets of fake blood in order to go ahead and get your scene done, or however you wanted to get it. I mean, they couldn't do the shock value things you see now in every turn in the middle horror movie where you always have to have like a jump scare, because they can digitally cut it in certain ways to make it look even scarier than it was before. Right, Joe? I mean, they didn't have those things back in 1980. It's a much simpler way of making movies at that point in time. And Kubrick, you have to put things in perspective when you watch these films from the past and say, you know what, you have to understand what they had and what they didn't have in making that movie.
And it's an iconic 10-second video.
Yeah.
It's the blood out of the elevator. It's the twins. It's the weird facial expressions from certain people. It's the typewriter. So a writer, when they talk about making a movie, they usually don't like the director editing, because a director is married to every scene he does. So by having a different editor, you usually have a better chance at being able to tell the story the correct way, so that you're not, because that editor has to take out sometimes certain scenes so that the flow of the movie makes sense.
And I want to take something a little bit of what JSJ said, and there are Marvel fans who don't know movies. JSJ, I think that's an incorrect statement, because you cannot tell me Infinity War and Endgame are not spectacle, absolutely great movies, tremendous movies. You cannot tell me that The Winter Soldier is not a thriller in the vein of like the 70s spy thrillers from that era. Though they take and borrowed liberally from that movie to those movies to make that The Winter Soldier. Those are good. Yes, I understand that most of the Marvel movies are formulaic and pretty much throw the usual standard stuff in there. I get that, but when Marvel and Disney wanted to make a good movie that appealed to others in the superhero genre, they were able to do so. So not all the Marvel movies you can throw into a bundle and say there it is. There are some standout films, Marvels, as movies. I mean, I know I hear the criticisms of all those older directors because they're saying it, Scorsese said it's a roller coaster, whatever, no, theme park ride, whatever. No, not all of the Marvel movies are bad. I just don't like when they're getting lumped all into one grouping. Most of them you can, but there are certainly some standouts that I think that people should go out of their way to see.
The superhero genre is this generation's Western. I'm sure
that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm sure if you look back in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
the spaghetti westerns.
I guarantee you, if you look back at the 50s and 60s, specifically those two decades, and both the 60s and 50s were, some have said that one decade was terrible, the other one was good, right? Whichever one. I don't know. I wasn't around, obviously. So you had the Western, okay, Gary Cooper, John Wayne, all those guys. I guarantee you, if you went back in time and looked at those movies at that time, you'd have the same discussion that you're having now with superhero fatigue, superhero great movie, superhero yeah, that's not bad. Like, you'll have all the same opinions of that particular popular genre.
Like when the spaghetti westerns hit at that time, don't you think some people saying, "Oh, that's not my Western. I like the John Wayne Westerns," or Shane, that Cool Bro loves so much. Those are completely different styles of Westerns than the spaghetti Westerns that were made, like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the Fistful of Dollars movies. I mean, those are completely different movies when you look at it. And so I'm sure they got the same kind of feedback from people who were stuck on those kind of Westerns as well.
That's funny, Kurt. That's a really good one, by the way. Wild Wild West.
Oh my God. Kenneth, you talk about over the top. Kenneth Branagh was way over the top in that movie. Guy should have a podcast of movies. I do one every week, Sports Baby, Pop Culture Cosmos.
Why aren't you guys on Pop Culture Cosmos? You guys need to start showing up. Start liking and subscribing to Pop Culture Cosmos, and then maybe I might come hang out too.
I've actually had him for segments that we recorded on the Fast Break that I put on the Cosmos.
So, Search, I'm glad you brought that up, because I just found out something very interesting. Michael Biehn did a podcast.
I only say it 15 times a day, Sports Baby.
You might need to start sending some links out. So Michael Biehn, the guy that played Kyle Reese, the guy that played Johnny Ringo, you retired too. You all know him, right? He did an interview on a podcast where he discussed how Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer were integral parts of the editing of the movie Tombstone. And of course, coincidentally, who were the biggest stars on that movie? Wyatt Earp, the star, and Val Kilmer. And of course, how do we not forget Curly Bill and Johnny Ringo? Now, he didn't sound like he had animosity towards it. Maybe he thought he had a couple of scenes in that movie that would have added a little bit more, or whatever. But for me, when I watched that movie, Johnny Ringo couldn't have been depicted any better. Michael Biehn has never looked as good in any movie, even Aliens, even Terminator. For me, Curly Bill, Powers Booth. Do you want to talk about underrated? Oh my God, one of my favorite character actors ever. But guys, I just said this. A great actor is also a great writer. And if you ever have someone that's got talent, let them have a say in enhancing that talent. Now, they're not going to be doing movies unless you're in the movie business. They're not going to be doing music unless you're in the music business. Usually, most people are working in normal jobs, like maybe running a donut shop or running a convenience store, whatever. Let the talent have some say, especially if they've got the skill set. So I'll give you an example of Sin Blades. So when I get a call from my guys, I'm like, Patron, the area over here needs X, Y, and Z. Now I'm on the other side of the town trying to get more business. When I hear the tone in my foreman's voice, and he's like, we should do this. And this is 7 years working together, not one problem. What do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm going to go, no, that's going to cost too much money. No, that's an extra day of work. No, I don't give two craps if it takes another day of work. I don't care if I didn't make 40% on this deal and I'm going to make 38%. I don't care. The quality has to be there. The quality eventually is the investment. That extra 2% that I sacrifice here turns into 50% on the next job. You see how it works? So look at it, learn from this, folks. This is not just the Lakers show. This is a life show. And we're not talking about the usual BS. We're talking about stuff that actually matters. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you should eat cauliflower and beans so that you can get to your goal. No. We're talking about stuff that actually matters because everybody's different when it comes to that. Some people can eat cases of beans and still be okay. And then this other one will look at it and not be good. Right? So here, in terms of communication, in terms of relationships, in terms of friendships, you bicker, but it can't be about you and that person. It's got to be about what you guys are trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, progression has to continue in what you're trying to get at. Even if you're going back and forth, negative, positive, doesn't matter. You can't let that main thing go off the rails. And my hope is once my video game is complete, you guys will really, truly understand what the process was there. You'll know because that's exactly what's happened with that. So, Gerald.
Yes, sir.
What do you got for me? What else you got for me now that you're here? Because I'm feeling pretty good. I've had 6 shots of tequila. It's this 99,000. If I have to I'm translating it in English, which is hours. It's called 99,000 hours. 99,000 horas. It was a gift from one of my guys. It's tequila from Mexico. And it was able to entertain people tonight and make Intel a very, very good contributor tonight, and obviously make me a very buzzed person today.
And it sounds like it indeed, but you don't sound like you're slurring as bad as you were last time.
It's called mental power.
There you go.
When you're not feeling 100%, what do? You dig deep and you say, you know what? I'm going to act like I'm normal. Here's to a little bit of tequila on ice.
Thank you, Sheed. Appreciate the super chat. Again, great line by Val. Just a great line after great line after great line in Tombstone. Absolutely a fantastic Western. Just so, and even at that time, it was it's one of those movies that grew a lifetime. It did well, but it's done so much better in the afterlife as far as after the movie came out, went to DVD, went to home video, all that. Went into reruns on cable, things like that. Now, that's where it's really garnered its lifespan, Joe. That's where people have come to appreciate it is upon repeat viewings ever since. At the time, it was, I think it was because it was the Rambo director that directed it, correct? They came in, they had another director.
I heard they had several directors, several storylines.
There was one that got kicked out, and they had to replace him with the director of Rambo. He came in, did the film, and a lot of people at the time there was a lot of critics who decided to go with wanted to go with Wyatt Earp, more critically pleasing, what have you. But that movie was so long for audiences. That's why nobody really wanted to go ahead and pay money to go see that. That's why it didn't do so well. That's why it's not as well remembered. Tombstone is the pace is good on it. The story is pretty good on it. The characters are very memorable, and the lines, the writing, the dialect. That's why it's stuck with us so long, and that's why it's such a revered movie, and that's why it's only grown in popularity since it's released.
Darren, thank you for bringing up that particular topic. Again, this is what I heard. Bruce Dern shot John Wayne in the back in that movie. You want to know how powerful John Wayne was at that time? I'll tell you. I heard that Bruce Dern didn't get a job for 2 years because of that. 2 years for a movie. It's fake, folks. John Wayne isn't dead. The only thing that took out John Wayne was cancer and old age. Bruce Dern didn't work for 2 years, allegedly, because he shot John Wayne in the back. I love Bruce Dern. My introduction to Bruce Dern was in the movie The Burbs.
Oh, really? That was your introduction to Bruce?
That was my introduction. The Burbs was in 1989. I was 9 years old. That was when I started remembering stuff, right? That's when you start to remember stuff, like at 10. I'm sorry, 11 years old. 10, 11, 12, like that's when you start to remember. So, boy, man, you guys brought up some topics tonight that just made me very, very happy. I'm usually an hour show. We're already 42 minutes past the hour. So I want to thank everyone who's come. Intel, you were the flame that ignited this forest fire of goodness. And you came in a little late. Alice, thank you so much. Dante, Kurt, Serge, you are my guy, and you'll always be my guy. You let me know when you're in town. I'll take you out, and I'll show you a Duke's welcome on that one.
I'm still trying to plan to come down there in March next month.
Well, whenever you want to come down, G, you got
it. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm gonna hunt you down like the dog you are.
That'll be good. We'll enjoy that little soiree, whatever it is that you're doing.
Hunt you down like the dog you are.
I
knew that threw him off.
Well, I gotta let you do your thing. But again, we started the show on a somber note, talking about the Lakers losing to the Suns tonight, 120 or today. I've said that 7 times at least. Today, the Lakers lost to the Suns 123-113, but we are looking and hoping that on Wednesday they can get back on track. They're going to be playing 12 games, or I should say the next 12 games on the West Coast, except for one, all home games except for one. And we're crossing our fingers that we can get some positiveness in that road trip, or I should say home trip.
Yeah, and you're right, JSJ. We're back in the 9th seed by default because Denver beat the Warriors. But as Joe would say before to you, we're still one behind in the loss column to Golden State.
Correct. Lakers need to make up some ground here. Hopefully they can go 8-4 the next 12 games. That would probably put them in a situation where they might be able to get to that 7 and 8 seed, but we're going to be here for the ride. We're going to be talking. We're going to be frustrated. We're going to be ranting. We're going to be drinking, apparently. But until then, I want to thank everyone for being here. Xbox, I know you got in here late. Hope you're having good drinks here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheed. Thank you, everyone.
Love you, too. You guys have been dropping, again, I was saying dropping dimes all night tonight. We owe you guys. We're gonna reciprocate, I promise. We're going to figure out a way to reciprocate. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being here for post-game. Thank you for being here on playback. If you have any questions, any comments, you can email us at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Soro LFB. Is it hashtag on Twitter? I don't even know. I barely use it. But if you message me, I get all the alerts.
Let me find out. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll get
if you want to hit me up on Instagram, it's Sinblades_turf.
You're Joe Soro LFB on Twitter.
Yes. Joe Soro LFB on Twitter. So if you guys want to message me, you want to comment, you want to talk some smack, you guys can reach me there. If you guys want to email us, you know the email, everything. Again, thank you for everything tonight. Thank you for the drinks. Thank you for the change, the comments, the questions, everything. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're probably going to have a snack pack. I don't know when, G, but we'll have a snack pack. And if you're not here tomorrow or Tuesday, we'll see you on Wednesday for playback, and it's going to be a good one. I can feel it. Have a great night, folks.
Thank you, everyone.